Taraz. It was a village that used to be famous and very important in Central Asia more than 2,000 years ago. Taraz is located about 600 kilometers from Almaty, the capital of Kazakhstan. It is, however, fast losing its importance as a stopover town. During the Silk Roads era, it was the Arab merchants who introduced Islam into this area. Islam was then the official religion in Taraz from the 9th to the 12th century. In the 13th century, Genghis Khan conquered the town and turned it into a Mongolian administration centre. Today, with the help of a local resident, we try to explore if there is any ruin or artifact that links Islam to the local history. Since Kazakhstan's history has never been properly documented, we found it difficult to unearth Taraz's past. Fortunately, we met Gulaim Abilda with a vast knowledge of local history. According to her, Taraz, which is in the Oblast province, actually has a lot of undocumented stories. Gulaim herself has been entrusted to take care of one of Taraz's historical heritages. In fact, Gulaim and her ancestors had been entrusted with the responsibility since 500 years ago. Upon arrival, we are treated to a warm welcome. It is, after all, the Taraz's local culture. We were served with a special tea prepared the traditional way. The Aulia Ata Mosque was constructed by the Kazakhstan government 2 years ago on the site of an old mosque. From the outside, it does not differ much from other modern mosques, but the interior retains the traditional Kazakhstan's colour and decorative patterns. Its prayer hall is huge, and a big number of worshippers can fill it. The mosque also holds religious classes for students of all ages. Currently, there are 40 students undergoing Islamic studies and Arabic language classes. It has been a tradition for mosques to be used by Muslims not only for prayers but also for educational purposes. Even in the period of Prophet Muhammad and his companions, mosques played important roles in imparting knowledge. Kazakhstan has just obtained its independence. For the time being, it is not able to provide an adequate religious education and infrastructure. However, the beautiful interior of this mosque depicts clearly the unique and rich culture of Kazakhstan. Aulia Ata in the local dialect means the birthplace of Muslim scholars. Thus, it also functions as a school in producing Muslims with a strong faith. Besides the usual religious classes for Muslims, the mosque also holds Quran recital classes for 30 children. These classes are held during the school holidays. They come here voluntarily and will come back next holiday to continue with their studies. This boy's name is Berik. He comes from Balkhash, a region in the center of Kazakhstan. He dreams of becoming a religious teacher when he grows up. Like his friends, 15-year-old Ruslan Amandasov prefers spending his holidays at the mosque. At such a young age, he understands the importance of religion in character building of a good Muslim for the benefit of the Ummah. Ruslan also aspires to be a religious teacher and to serve his people. He said everything is taught here, and the lessons start off with the reciting of tasbih. Reciting of tasbih is important, especially when one wants to purify and reinforce one's spiritual well-being. Many students here admit that their parents at home do not know how to pray or perform religious duties. Despite that, they want their sons to learn and practice it here. For the Kazakhs, life under the previous communist regime is hard to forget. Muslims were forbidden from practicing Islam openly. But there is a blessing in disguise. Hardships had taught them the value of freedom. Freedom ensures the prosperity of the Muslims here. After Kazakhstan's independence 7 years ago, the Kazakhs were able to learn and practice Islam openly. For Aliyev Munawar, an Otra local, the older generation should encourage the present and future generations to get to know Islam better. I have hopes for my relatives, especially for my children and grandchildren, to know Islam. For me, the first step to be taken is to teach them to pray to Allah. I hope that the younger generation will learn about Islam, practice it, and teach our people. I also hope my children will become devoted Muslims. From Kazakhstan, we proceed to our next destination, Kyrgyzstan, another former member of the defunct United Soviet Socialist Republic. Located in the southeast of Central Asia, the country covers an area of nearly 200,000 square kilometers. Bishkek, its capital, is a modern city and has become the administrative, economic, social and cultural center. Kyrgyzstan became independent from the Soviet Union on the 31st of August 1991. The country has a population of 5 million people, and Bishkek alone has 700,000 population. Before Kyrgyzstan became independent, Bishkek was also known as Pishpek and Frunz. Modern historical landmarks can be seen at several places in Bishkek. This is Victory Square. It was built in 1985 to commemorate the 40th anniversaries of the Soviets' victory over the German Nazis. The Manas Memorial Complex is another landmark situated at the outskirts. It was built 3 years ago to remember Manas, a popular local legendary character. Islam is the official religion of this country. Kyrgyz are now allowed to practice Islam openly, only after their independence from the Soviet Union. The Bishkek Grand Mosque was reopened in 1991. It is a sign of religious freedom and better times ahead for the Muslims. The mosque was rebuilt 4 years ago on the site of a 100-year-old mosque. The construction had cost $30,000 and was wholly sponsored by the Kuwaiti government. Unfortunately, the reconstruction is not completed due to a shortage of funds. The mosque's committee plans to build an administrative office and madrasa blocks later. Right now it holds religious classes and Quranic recital classes for its 30 pupils. Islam is becoming stronger each day. The young Muslims are more aware of their responsibilities in continuing their struggle to ensure that Islam survives in Kyrgyzstan. The weekly congregation for Friday prayers amounts to 2,000 worshippers. For 33-year-old Imam Abdul Manan, this is a positive development. He was selected as Imam 1.5 years ago. He hopes to see the resurgence of Islam in the community and the strengthening of brotherhood among them. The Imam's hopes are shared by 70-year-old Ahmad Beg and 68-year-old Bazar Khulup Nadine. Unlike Abdul Manan, they are from the older generation who suffered under the communist regime. The condition is better for us in Kyrgyz nowadays. Muslims are free to practice their faith, and Muslims from other countries can come and strengthen the brotherhood with us, while exchanging ideas. Ahmad Beg is also confident of Kyrgyzstan's future. Only Allah knows what our future holds. Nevertheless, I am sure the Kyrgyz will return to their faith and culture. Muslims will come back to fill the mosques. For the three, there is still a long way to go towards the Islamic country that they hope for. Independence does not guarantee an easy life. Independence will have to be filled with missionary programs and religious development that must be shouldered by those with strong faith and knowledge. This is their greatest challenge after independence. It would be easier if worldwide Muslims helped them in terms of money, reading materials and teaching staff. The Bishkek Mosque is the symbol for two important struggles for the Muslim Kyrgyz: to develop their country and to preserve their faith in Islam.